I don't know. How you guys doing? Hope all is well. My name's Jonathan Bertrand, and I'm just gonna speak about basically what they call social determinants. Now, this is based off of something that I wrote for the MIT Link 20 review, and I realized that social determinants is very, very interesting. And basically, what according to the dictionary, it's care for and encourage to grow or development for. Now, when I hear that development for social determinants, meaning that you're creating this type of atmosphere for people to um, take heed to, and I found out that through research, through understanding, through multiple different areas, that it's very tricky. Now, for the sake of what we're talking about here, about the triple conscious theory, um, the triple conscious theory is based off of the W.E.B. Du Bois's double conscious on social construct. Now, now, the thing about it is that, like any disability, it's tricky because, of course, some people are going to deny it. Some people are going to say it isn't real. They're going to say, "Oh well, John, you're just making up stuff." So, um, if you guys are interested in this, the Ruberman Foundation, the Ruberman Family Foundation, actually developed a white paper. A white paper is research that is basically done to prove a point or make a statement, and this is what they basically said. It's the Ruberman White Paper on Mental Health in the Ivy League. Mental health in the Ivy League. Hmm, let's hit on that. Mental health in the Ivy League. If you know what Ivy League is, it's like top of the top, like to the point where the demographic is very little from the American way to overseas, or American Ivy League, we can say. And the Ruberman Foundation happens to be a disability inclusion foundation, and they're doing wonderful work out there, and they're opening up their doors to new opportunities. And I recently applied to their program, and I know I'll be accepted. I'm claiming it. But interesting because they actually developed a white paper on disability inclusion in the Ivy Leagues. Now, the interesting part about this, here goes the interesting part. Look up the ADA, American Disability Act, on page 11. So now this is what I want you guys to do. On page 11 of this report, it actually shows, we're here. It says that according to the American Disability Act, students who receive reasonable accommodations and some are unable to stay in school instead of actually leave. So the whole argument of this paper is to show that some of these universities don't really care much about the students. And they're basically showing that if we take that away, because you never know in college, there's things that happen that you can't control. And one of the biggest things that I found out about this paper is that with the mental health on campus, the legal context, I think it's real here. According to the Americans with Disability Act, the ADA, a person is considered to have a disability if that meets one of these following three criteria: a physical or mental impairment that sustainably limits one or more major life activities of an individual, a record of such impairment, meaning a long-term record, and then being regarded as having such impairment, meaning visual, or you can really tell, like I look at you and I'm like, okay, yep, he has slurred speech, he has, walking different, etc. And this is based off of the National Council of Disability in DC. Now, it gets even deeper. When applied to higher education setting, a mental health disability is defined as a persistent psychological and psychiatric disorder, mental or m- emotional or mental illness that adversely affects emotional performance. A mental health disability is a condition which, one, is listed as the most current American psychiatric, or basically diagnostic and statistical manual, and or ADA as amended and or the International Classification of Disease, the IDC, reflects a psychiatric or physical condition that interferes with the major life activities, posing functional limitations in an educational setting. What is the triple conscious theory? It's the public, private, and social media persona. If you're caught up in that, it's the disability. If you're caught up in the cyber realm and you don't know real from reality, if you get desensitized, if you lose your sense of self and you start acting different, if things you to get depressed, you get suicidal, this is what I talk about. And this is the triple conscious theory. And I also introduced a disorder as well called social media dependency disorder. Now, the reason why I didn't put it as a title is because, of course, the triple conscious theory sounds more appealing. But with the social media dependency disorder, this is where they label that. Any disorder causes an impairment. Of course, we know that. And this new finding, I developed it on September 21st, 2015. And I wrote it down, and it just expanded from there. And I mean, I didn't even know what I was developing. I just wrote it out. Went to my university. Of course, made a couple posts about it on social media, and everybody was like, "Oh, document it, document it." So I was like, "Okay," and it grew from there. And what 4 years later, the Ruberman Foundation got wind of my work through my submission online, and the rest is history. And I can't wait to introduce this on an international scale. And if you were looking for the Rubric white paper, please let me know. I could definitely tag it in the comments or something like that so you guys can see. Hope you guys like it. Talk to you guys soon. If you guys have any questions, please go to socialmediaawareness.org.